welcome to the Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. Murphy Farrell along with Terry Collins, and Murph, another exciting week of high school football.
It's hard to believe we're already into the October part of the schedule. The playoffs will be here before we know it, but there's still an awful lot of important football to be played before November rolls around.
You know, there's only 4 more weeks of high school football before the playoffs. It seems like everything has just flown by.
It really has.
Let's go ahead and look at the Joe Burns at Gordonsville game. That was the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports, looking at the KFC Taco Bell of Gordonsville and Smithville. Looking at the stats, Murphy, it was really dominated by Gordonsville, especially on the scoreboard. Maybe not as much one-sided offensive and defensive stats, but, 3 turnovers by the Gordonsville defense, and, they just continue to roll on to 7-0 does Scott Clemens' Tigers.
Looks like the All-Britain kid had another great game, especially in the passing department. 2.5 times more yardage than Joe Burns had through the air, and only 1 pick. A pretty good night as far as the aerial game goes.
When we talk to Coach Clemens, that's the one thing he always wants is balance, and I feel like his team has that.
Yeah, and it makes it awfully hard for the opposition to prepare, knowing they've got to be ready for both, as much as the other.
Let's go ahead and look at some individual numbers for Gordonsville. Matthew Albritton, the quarterback, very efficient. Murphy, 9 for 13, 234 yards. Did have 1 interception, had 6 rushes for 47 yards, 4 total touchdowns. A big night for him. And, when you average 25 yards a pop throwing the football, you're doing something right.
That's a first down on every one of those throws.
That's true, and a kid that's getting better for them, seemed like week by week, running the footballs. Canyon Musgrove, 5 rushes for 62 yards, a couple of scores. Peyton Clymer, not a speed burner, but just a possession receiver, 4 receptions for 98 yards and a touchdown. And then Landon Baker, of course, 1 reception for 70 yards and a score. Got a lot of speed out there, and he also had an interception. Looking at Joe Burns, that game was 6-6, I think, after the first quarter, but then Gordonsville just put their foot on the gas. Ryan Dowling, 10 for 18, 91 yards, had an interception, 11 rushes for 54 yards, another score. And then Antoine Lewis, 5 receptions for 68 yards, and also had an interception. But Murphy, we thought going in that Gordonsville would have the upper hand and probably see a running clock there in the fourth quarter, and that's what happened.
You got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff on that. That first quarter, as you mentioned, dead even at 6. But the coaching staff of the Gordonsville Tigers knew what they could. They knew what would work and knew what wouldn't after that first 12 minutes of play, and certainly took advantage of it in the next 3.
Let's go ahead and look at the stats that we've got. East Robertson at Watertown, Adam Cooper. He just seems to, he's a youngster. I think he's maybe a sophomore, and he seems to be improving every week. And when you look at 15 rushes for 148 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a reception for 15 yards, Watertown blew out to that 35-0 halftime lead and never looked back.
Pretty good Friday night in the fall as Cooper averaged just a click under 10 yards a carry. I think Coach Webster would take that every week and be totally satisfied, don't you?
Caden West, a big night defensively, 12 tackles for Watertown. And, we see Braden Cousineau, their seasoned starter at quarterback. He just keeps on winning. And, he commandeers his team and, just does a great job with that. And I know Gavin Webster would echo, maybe he doesn't have the greatest stats every week, but he does what they ask him to do.
Stats are fun, and stats are something that a lot of people like to take a look at, but when it's all said and done, who's got the most points and who made the most big plays.
You can watch bonus coverage of this game on DTC on Friday, Saturday, and Monday, courtesy of the Watertown students. Another big game for Smith County. They get a region win as Smith County goes to Stratford and picks up the 24-7 win. It was 14-0 Owls. The Owls were driving. They wound up fumbling, and then Stratford comes back. Murphy makes it 14-7, and the Owls kind of trying to run out the half, and Bryce Curry breaks off about a 50, 60-yard run. So the Owls wind up getting a field goal right at the conclusion of the first half and go up 17-7, and then the only score in the second half was Andrew Wheely, 31 yards, interception return for a touchdown to kind of put the seal of the deal. But the Owls are in the catbird seat now. If they can get a win over Jackson County, that clinches a home playoff berth. and they clinched a playoff berth under Matt Dyer last Friday night.
Matt and the rest of his coaching staff and these young men that wear the black and gold uniform continue to impress me and amaze me every week, Terry. They had every reason in the world to not win a lot of football games with a new coach and so many seniors on last year's team, but they've continued to work hard, play hard, and they've been very impressive this season.
You take Bryce Curry, 25 carries, 212 yards. That is an awesome night, over 8 yards a pop, and he just continues. You know, he's got great strength, Murphy, but he's learning how to run the football and really being the bell cow for the Owls. And you know, through the years when the Owls have had successful programs, they've had a go-to running back. Most of the time out of the I formation with a tailback, back in the Gary Rankin days, Juice Dirksen to name one, that was Mr. Football. But Bryce Curry is becoming the man in the running game for Smith County.
And that tells you that they've got some pretty good guys up front in the trenches
That's
too.
true, that is true. And DeKalb County at Livingston, that was Thursday night at Tucker Stadium. DeKalb County getting the big win, 45-15 over Livingston. Livingston's just really struggled. They haven't won a game and not sure that they're going to, but DeKalb, huge night on the turf at Tennessee Tech, 513 yards of total offense, brisk trap returns, 10 for 13, 185 yards, 5 rushes for 25 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Isaac Knowles, who'd been playing quarterback, goes back to his receiver position and just has a tough night, 153 yards catching it, 91 rushing, so just 244 yards from the line of scrimmage, Murphy. That was a great night for him.
Pretty good night at the office, wouldn't you
Sure
say?
was. Colby Barnes, 4 rushes for 91 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Nathaniel Crook, 9 rushes for 94 yards. DeKalb County just rolling.
They've got so many weapons that Coach Steve Trapp and his staff can use. That's what makes it so difficult to prepare for that Tiger football team. They, you know, if you stop these 3, there's still 1 or 2 over here that you got to worry about.
Cannon County at Grundy County. Cannon County gets the win, 14-6. That stayed 7-0 for a long time. Ryan Perkins leading the ground game, 17 rushes for 68 yards. Also had a couple for 38 yards. Dallas Roller, 7 carries for 23 yards and a reception. He also scored a touchdown. Harrison Carr, 4 for 4, throwing it 45 yards. And then Cooper Nemeth had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. So their defense stepped up and made a play and got them that big reaching win.
The game was scoreless after the first quarter, I believe. I listened to a good bit of that game, but maybe one of the more complete games. Grundy County is not that terrible a football team. They're just trying to get things going again under Coach Nick Bryant. And I think in the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot of major improvement. He did a good job with that program a few years back, and he's a native of up there, and I think everybody's pretty well pleased. Obviously, they'd like to see some more marks in the win column, but I think Nick will get it done in time.
You know, they've had 4 or 5 coaches over the last 6 or 7 years, and Murphy, you know, like I do, it's hard to establish much of a tradition, much of continuity within your program by having that many coaches in that many years.
Well, and that's why I say his return to the head coaching position, a local guy, he played there, he grew up there. I think Grundy County football is going to improve.
We'll look at the region scores and standings when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
At DTC, we're proud to provide the communication and entertainment services you need to get the most from today's technology.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade internet with us. Fly at the speed the internet intended you to.
Get the technology you want, backed by local customer service from neighbors you know and trust. DTC Communications, your total communications provider.
Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master maintenance technicians, maintenance trainer, electricians, miners, mill operators, mill technicians, warehouse attendant, business analysts, mine supervisor, and other amazing opportunities. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and much more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Powell & Meadows Insurance, in business since 1894, provides knowledgeable and personal service to our clients. One call puts you in touch with a local agent who will help you shop from a variety of top companies. At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
We are here to help you. Let us show you what customer service is all about. Give us a call today.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Murphy Farrell along with Terry Collins. Glad to have you along this week. We want to thank all our fine sponsors, because without them, Murph, we couldn't be here.
And neither could the people behind the wall that are punching all the buttons either.
Right, and we appreciate them, and we ask that you patronize these people and let them know you appreciate watching the Box Score, and just pick up the phone, give them a call, and tell them, hey, you appreciate them sponsoring us. Let's go ahead and look at the region's scores and standings. First, the Sonic of Carthage Region 4 1A Week 7 scores. Clay County, a big win over Red Bowling, 61-14. Clay County sitting on top of that region. And Murph, you look at them in Gordonsville, that's the two teams that are no doubt going to be on a collision course here.
We've talked a lot about the Watertown, Trousdale County rivalry and how good those two teams are. We got a mirror image of it here in this particular region with Clay County and Gordonsville, two really good football teams. It was a war last year, and no reason to believe it won't be this year also. Let's
go ahead and look at the Region 4 2A scores. Trousdale County a win over Harpeth, 54-34. Westmoreland a win over Whites Creek, 35-6. When you look, Trousdale County and Watertown sitting there on top of that region, and we talked to about Watertown and their tough schedule, Murphy. I know they're sitting there at 4-3. You say, well, they may not be as good, but I really think that's sharpened their skills to play a Trousdale County later this year.
Well, and they need that too, because when the playoffs roll around, they're going to line up with Region 3, and right now there are still 3 teams in Region 3 without a loss. Right. Meigs County, Tyner Academy, and Marion County, they're all perfect right now. Right. So it's going to be a tough postseason for anybody in that particular part of the bracket.
The playoffs are still up for grabs for those bottom 4 teams. When you look at East Robinson, Westmoreland, Whites Creek, and Harpeth, all with just maybe 1 or no doubt 2 wins in the region would clinch a 3rd or 4th slot.
Exactly. They're all 1 and 2, except for Harpeth, who is still looking for their first regional win.
Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 3A scores, and that's Sequatchie County over Community, 36-26. Giles County sitting on top at 2-0. Of course, County at 1-0. Sequatchie there at 2-1. So, we thought going in, Giles County would be the cream of the crop, and that's been the story thus far.
They're certainly going to get the travel award. Giles County, Pulaski, where Giles County High School is, right on the Alabama line for all practical matters, and every one of their away games is going to be a long one, and the people in the teams in this same region have got a lengthy trip, so that's easily the travel award goes to the Bobcats, if nothing else.
Let's go ahead and look at the Region 5 3A scores. Sonic of Carthage sponsoring those for us. We appreciate it, and Green Hill, a big win over East Nashville, 22-21, Murph.
That speaks very highly for East Nashville, because Green Hill's in the same region with Wilson Central, Mount Juliet, those 5A schools, and Green Hill is holding their own with those others. And if East Nashville came that close to the newest school in Wilson County, that just lets you know how good a football team East Nashville is.
Jackson County a winner over Maplewood, 40-18, and Maplewood just has got back 3 days later from that trip to Gainsborough. But when you look, of course, Smith County's got Jackson County after an off week this week. That's going to be possibly for second place in the region.
Absolutely. And Jackson County all but assured itself of a playoff spot with that win over Maplewood. Coach Sean Loftus doing a pretty good job over there this year.
Region 4, 4A, look at those scores. Upland over Macon County, 41-14. That was close early, but the Bees then grabbed the upper hand, and then a big rivalry game in Cumberland County when Stone Memorial wins over the Jets, 21-9. Looking at the standings, Upland sitting on top there at 3-0. Stone Memorial, Macon, and DeKalb all sitting there at 2-1. Those 4 teams are pretty well locked for the 4 playoff positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Cumberland County and Livingston both struggling right now, looking for their first win. So looks like both of those are probably going to be watching from the stands.
Let's go ahead and look at some scores from around the area. Brought to you by Sonic of Carthage. Of course, 2 good friends going at each other there. Jimmy Maynard used to be on Gary Rankin's staff over at Murfreesboro Riverdale. Alcoa wins it 38-0. BGA, a big win over Good Pasture, 52-21. And then a high scoring points-wise, 99 points. You usually don't see Stephen Jackson's defense giving up 36 points, but Oakland puts 63 on the board, Murphy, and then a very entertaining game. White County, a very much improved squad, drops it to Wilson Central 43-38, another high-scoring affair.
That pretty much eliminated White County's chances of postseason play, but nonetheless, they've been a very pleasant surprise to the Upper Cumberland as far as high school football goes this year.
Let's go and look at the preview of the games that we'll be seeing in Week 8. And that's Clay County at Scott High School, and that is in Huntsville, the home of
Howard Baker.
Former senator, that's correct. Murphy, the game of the week.
You thought
as far
you were
as
going to catch me off guard on that, didn't you?
I knew Murphy was on it. Gordonsville at Trousdale County. There are probably people getting in line right now in Hartsville on the creek bank.
That will be a big one, no doubt. As you mentioned, always a battle when Smith County, Trousdale County, or Watertown matches up with Trousdale County, and I find this week's game to be no different. Ought to be a good one.
Should be a great game. Both teams coming in undefeated. Murphy at 7-0. Joe Burns is at Cascade, and in Caverna, Kentucky. The way I understand it, playing Red Boiling Springs for the first time ever.
I think so. It's Red Boiling having a hard time trying to get a mark in the win column, and I'm not exactly sure where Caverna is, but probably just across the state line. I've heard of it many, many times. Region
4 2A, Harpeth at Watertown. That'll be our Huff and Puff trucking game of the week here on DTC Sports. And a lot of open dates this week because it is that odd week where teams are not playing region games. East Robertson, Whites Creek, Westmoreland. Now we'll look at the Region 4 3A games coming up. Tennessee Heat at Cannon County. Murph, you know much about Tennessee Heat?
Not. It's another one of those travel teams, if you will. Most of the kids that play on these teams, the Tennessee Heat and 3 or 4 others, primarily are homeschooled. And but don't let that title fool you. It's still a pretty good football team, and Cannon County will need to play very well to come away with that non-region win.
Giles County stepping up in classification, going to Columbia. Maybe one of their closest away games, or
very much so. Those counties touch each other, and Columbia Central at the 5A level now, along with Giles County 3A. Not quite as much difference in the enrollment of those 2 schools as we've seen in the past.
And 2 schools that are pretty close in the valley, the Sequatchie Valley, and that's Whitwell at Grundy County open date with Community. Now we'll flip the script and go on to Region 5 3A, and that's East Nashville at Maplewood. I really don't see that being much of a game. And then Stratford coming off a disappointing loss to Smith County, who really bottled them up. And you got to give Coach Matt Dyer and you got to give Jason Harville, the defense coordinator, a lot of credit because speed hurt them the week before against Trousdale County, but last week they stepped up and really held Stratford at bay, who's a very explosive team.
Yeah, they've got some quickness, just as Maplewood did, and they'll have to face that again against East Nashville before the regular season comes to an end.
Where Stratford goes to Franklin Road Academy, and then the 2 open dates, which gives each coach, Coach Loftus and Coach Dyer, an opportunity to prepare for the other one. Jackson and Smith haven't played in football in a while, and of course now they're tossed into the same region, and they'll be meeting in Carthage a week from Friday night. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 4A. Livingston at Cumberland County, and Livingston struggled. Cumberland County has improved, but still struggling in the win column there, Murphy. So I'm sure both coaches are saying this week in practice, hey, we got a chance to win one.
That's right. Who does not want to be in the cellar when it's all said and done?
And DeKalb County at Warren County. And Murphy, through the years, that has developed into a great rivalry. And, when you look at Warren County and their struggles in years past, and still, we played them up there and for homecoming one year, and they were 0-6, 0-7 when Jimmy Maynard was the coach in Carthage. And they had probably 2,500, 3,000 people there.
Oh, yeah,
and,
absolutely.
They just support that. And, that's developed into a great rivalry in just about all sports. I know I've seen them playing basketball as well. I think this will be a good football game in McMinnville on Friday night.
Yeah, it's not a regional ball game. Doesn't have anything to do with the playoffs unless you want to count overall win in tie-breaking situations. But it's one of those border wars for bragging rights. And the nursery industry obviously very strong in both of those counties, and I'm sure a lot of those people talk to each other on a regular basis. Macon
County, Stone Memorial, and Upland will have the week off. And Murphy, let's talk about that. We've got basically after this Friday night, you've got 3 games left for teams if you didn't have your bye. But I know coaches, because you've got nicks and bangs and bruises at this time of the year, they're welcoming that break.
Oh, absolutely. And I've gotten that same information from coaches as you have. And that's why they like to have a week off, kind of in the middle of the season, if you will, to allow them to nurse those nagging injuries a little bit and be closer to 100% once the heat of the regular season comes along.
We'll have an interview with head coach Gavin Webster of Watertown when we return to the Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
Catch coverage of high school football action on DTC Sports each week. Watch DTC3 every Friday night at 6:45 or online at dtc3.tv for football game night as DTC Sports presents the area's best games. Watch this week as the Watertown Purple Tigers host the Harpeth Indians. Football game night all season long on DTC Sports.
The Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition encourages our teenagers to be the positive influence. Stand against the epidemic of opioid and stimulant usage by joining the Youth Coalition #TakeBackTeam. 6% of Smith County students reported misusing prescription drugs. The #TakeBackTeam challenges you to stand outside the stack. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master maintenance technicians, maintenance trainer, electricians, miners, mill operators, mill technicians, warehouse attendant, business analyst, mine supervisor, and other amazing opportunities. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and much more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair. And we've been joined by somebody that Murphy and I have known for a long time, former Gordonsville alum, Gavin Webster, the head coach at Watertown High School. And Coach, you got off to a little bit of a slow start. Of course, you played some awful tough teams. I don't know if Josh Hackett or Darren Brown, who made your schedule out, but that was a tough beginning.
Yeah, a lot of people was asking me about that. When we started searching for teams, last year to do our schedule, we was having a hard time finding that week one. And, Coach down there at Fayetteville, we contacted one another and we decided we would give it a shot. Of course, when we did this, it was probably first or second, I guess probably may have been second round of the playoffs sometime, when we scheduled it. And, little I know they was going to make a run and win the state championship and got everybody returning and, got off a good football team. So, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to blame Scott Clemens a whole lot on that.
Well, he deserves a lot of that credit, Coach.
Yeah, he talked to me about it. I called Scott, we talked about it. I give him a hard time a lot, But anyway, no, it was good. We like to play good people. We feel like it gets us prepared for postseason, and it's been good for us,
Coach, the new Watertown High School was long overdue, and I know you've got to be awfully excited about the facility that you have, but that new high school in Watertown has really affected not only the football team, but the entire student body, the way your enrollment is growing.
Yeah, it has. We've got a nice facility there, a nice school, and it's grown. We've got good academics there. Our athletics, just not only football, but basketball and baseball and volleyball and softball and soccer. We offer all that, even tennis. And everybody's having success, and some people still like the small school atmosphere, so we're getting some people to move in, and it's really helped our growth.
I know you've got to be pleased with that new indoor facility there too, right off the corner of the end zone down there. It's that's icing on the cake, more or less, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a nice facility. We use it. We moved our weight room over there, so we have a weight room on one side, and the rest is turf. We're able to go in there, like today, it looks like we might be going in there. Depends on how this weather shapes up. But, we get bad days where you just can't get outside. It's a place to go in and still be able to get a lot of work done and not have to utilize the basketball gyms and stuff like that.
Coach, when you look at just Watertown's overall athletics, yesterday they won the volleyball district tournament, and it seems like, as you said earlier, that they're on the rise and you're competitive. If you're not winning the district championship, you're challenging for it. What can you attribute that to? Is it because Darren Brown's a former coach and he's your principal? I know Darren wants that gloating, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Of course, I've known Darren forever, but it has to help to have a former coach as your administrator.
Yeah, Darren Brown, Mr. Brown's he's a great principal. He's athletic minded plus academics. He wants everybody to succeed. We get great support from him, just in all sports, and when you got somebody as a leader at your school like that, it really helps, very supportive and wants people to succeed, but wants them to do it the right way, and so you got that, and when you got I feel like we've got a lot of great coaches in our school that coach these sports, so, and along with that, when you take some hard-working athletes, whether they're boys or girls, you challenge a lot of people. If you're not winning the district or region, you're competing for it.
Coach, when you look at your schedule, I think there's 6 or 7 teams on your schedule that are ranked in the top 10 in single A, double A, triple, whatever classification they are. And I think that helps you for the future. And when I say that, playing good people makes you better. It makes you get better. Maybe you didn't get off to the start that you had hoped for after the Fayetteville and Gordonsville game, but I still think, Coach, that toughness has helped you to kind of turn the corner now and playing a lot better football.
Yeah, and you're right. You said the exact word there. It makes you get better, because if you don't get better, you're gonna get run off the map, So, but no, we like I said, we really enjoy or really like playing good people. It does prepare you for postseason and later down in your schedule. And when kids see that adversity, they've been there, and so you kind of know how they're going to react. Like I said, we didn't get off to a good start versus Fayetteville and Gordonsville, and the kids come back and they kept working to get better and get better. And I really believe we have become a better football team. So it's got to help us down the road. It's going to help us more than it's going to hurt us.
Terry kind of let the cat out of the bag early on about how long he and I have known you. We go back to when you were playing for Gordonsville, and I would imagine even back then one of your biggest rivalries as a Gordonsville Tiger was a Watertown Purple Tiger. How hard was it for you that first night on the sideline when you were the head coach of Watertown against your alma mater?
It was pretty hard. You got mixed emotions. I've been at Watertown a long time now, and those first, even when I was assistant, playing, coaching for Watertown and playing Gordonsville, you got mixed emotions right there. And of course, when I took over in 2005, you still had it, and you got a lot of great fond memories of, growing up over in that area and playing. And, it's just anytime you play them, it just brings a lot of back good memories. I'm good friends with all the coaching staff over there, and still got some buddies that teach over there and all that. So it's always fun to play them.
You don't have any side bets with with Coach Clemens about the outcome of your game each year here lately, do you?
No, we talk a lot. He's Coach Clemens does a great job with them over there, but we probably try to touch base. We probably talk about every 2 or 3 weeks, and throughout the summer and everything. So, but no, we don't place any side bets.
Coach, when you look at everybody's pointing to that last game of the year when you play Trousdale County, and you've been successful with that, for the last few years in beating them, which is a feather in your cap. But then you get the home playoff game, and you've had some close, games, very close games in those, third round, I guess, the playoffs, but you hadn't been able to overcome that. Is that a game this year you're just going to throw and let them win to where maybe you can win in the postseason?
No, some people might do that, but I ain't built that way. We're gonna try to win that one last game of the year, and of course, all depends on how things go in the playoffs. If we draw them again, get that far, we're gonna try to win that one. But I can't do that.
I bet you'd like to have $1 for every time somebody has mentioned that to you, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. People have, but no, I'm not built that way. I like to win them all.
Coach, when you look at that matchup, it's been one that's been very enjoyable as a fan, as a high school football fan, to see these two teams, which are really tradition rich the last few years and having great records and great teams. When those two teams meet, I dare say 1 or 2 plays is the difference in those ball games that could have easily went Watertown's way just as they went Trousdale County's way.
Yeah, anytime you got 2 good teams playing, that's pretty much the case. It's going to always come down to 1 or 2 plays, winning or losing, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes, and stuff like that. So when you got 2 good ball teams playing, that's what it usually comes down to. A play here, play there, and I guess the last 6 times, we've played 6 times over the last 3 years. That's really the way it's been. You can take the regular season and the postseason. That's pretty much the way it's been.
About the same amount of points for both clubs. I don't have those scores in front of me, but it's been very entertaining. Coach Gavin Webster, we appreciate you joining us, and best of luck to Watertown for the rest of the year and throughout the postseason.
Hey, thank you. Enjoyed it.
And we'll take a look at the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports, plus get the Gurus matchups when we return to the Brock Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
So, go check it out.
Deterring crime. It's the first job of a home security system from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Let us help protect your home.
So?
A lot of nice stuff and an alarm.
Don't delay. Call DTC Security now or visit us online.
Powell & Meadows Insurance, in business since 1894, provides knowledgeable and personal service to our clients. One call puts you in touch with a local agent who will help you shop from a variety of top companies. At Powell & Meadows Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
We are here to help you. Let us show you what customer service is all about. Give us a call today.
The Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition encourages our teenagers to be the positive influence. Stand against the epidemic of opioid and stimulant usage by joining the Youth Coalition #TakeBackTeam. 6% of Smith County students reported misusing prescription drugs. The #TakeBackTeam challenges you to stand outside the stack. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. We've got our game of the week coming up, and that is HARPETH at Watertown. Murphy, we talked earlier, what a great facility it is over there at Watertown. Just a great place to go watch a high school football game. They have excellent eats. Coach Lane Price used to be over that grill over there, and they just don't have hamburgers and hot dogs. They have it all.
Yeah, and everybody from HARPETH will be looking for that because they'll have to go right through Nashville to get to Watertown, and that traffic's probably going to give them a little bit of a problem there. But HARPETH's struggling a little bit. They just haven't had the program that they had several years ago, and I think that'll be a nice win for Watertown, but they can't take anything for granted. They being the Purple Tigers, they need to come ready for work, for sure. Of course, this is the first time these two teams have ever met on the football field. Watertown, when you look at that record all time, over 50%, and when you look at the way teams used to have to play, for instance, when it was Carthage, they played Cumberland, they had played, like Cumberland's freshmen, Tennessee Tech, they used to play Lebanon, they used to play Cookeville. So, in order to get games, they had to play a lot of the bigger schools. Well, if you look at the numbers on the screen, obviously Watertown High School football has been around almost twice as long as HARPETH, one of those bedroom communities on the west side of Nashville. Got a beautiful campus. The school's on one side of the highway, the football field's on the other side, but it will, of course, this one's being played at Watertown, and I really look for the Purple Tigers to have a nice warm-up game in this one.
When you look at Gavin Webster and Doug Loop, who have been longtime coaches, 17 years, you don't see that at one school very much.
No, happy feet is one way a lot of people describe the way coaches move around as much as they do. But if I'm not mistaken, Coach Loop is the son of a career military guy. He actually went to high school in Europe kind of like a special school just for the military kids, almost on base kind of thing. And but a really good guy, and I think he'll have his team well prepared. I just don't think their roster got down to the low 30s a couple of years ago, and we all know that the Purple Tigers of Watertown have plenty more than that on their roster.
All right, Murph, time to pick these ball games, and this week you've got some tough picks. First one occurring in McMinnville, DeKalb County, traveling up to play Warren County.
Yeah, that's. I had a hard time finding games because there's more than 100 high schools across the state that are not playing this week because of fall break, and another 100 next week.
Right.
That will be fall break for them. But as we talk, that's a border war there, and I think Coach Turner's done such a good job of turning that program around. That's going to be an all-out war, and simply because it's being played in McMinnville, I'm going to have to go with Warren County on that one.
All right, Tennessee Heat going to Woodbury to play County.
Don't know much about this travel team. I don't send travel teams a survey. They probably aren't even real sure who's going to be on their roster in August. But I think Cannon County with a tough performance, but they came out with a win. That was the plus side. Up on the mountain last week, and hopefully they can keep that momentum going against the Tennessee Heat.
Gordonsville, Charleston County, not in the same classification. Of course, they used to be in the same region in football. I think Gordonsville's 1A, Charleston is 2A, but a big battle of undefeated teams on the creek bank.
They've played each other quite a bit in the last few years, and that's one of those that you could call a gate game, because I think there's going to be a great crowd, and there'll be a great crowd in Gordonsville next year when they play over there. Brand new stands on both sides of the stadium, long overdue in Hartsville. But I like the way Gordonsville's playing right now. I hope they keep that donut in the loss column.
When you look at HARPETH at Watertown or Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports.
Yeah, again, I think Watertown wins that one rather easily. Should be a good game early on, but I think Watertown's just got too many athletes on both sides of the line of scrimmage to not do very well.
Okay, let's go ahead and look at Lipscomb Academy at Knoxville Catholic.
Lipscomb Academy played Oakland a heck of a ball game a couple of weeks ago. They've got so much talent on that football team, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't send 10 or 12 kids to Power 5 college programs when the signing period rolls around in February. Catholic under a new coach from Georgia, but I think Lipscomb deals Catholic a pretty one-sided loss there.
All right, Pearl Cone going to Marshall County.
Boy, both of these teams need this one in the worst way. Pearl Cone lost to Tullahoma a few nights ago. Marshall County, an awfully good football team as well, but they both lost to Tullahoma. Tullahoma going to be probably the winner of that region. These guys are playing for home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. I've got to go with Pearl Cone in that one.
Wilson Central at a much improved Station Camp.
I saw Station Camp last week, and they're the real deal. I'm going to go with the Bison in that one.
All right, Beach at Springfield.
That's a tough one to call because they're both pretty good football teams. Springfield playing at 5A. Beach has moved up to 6A this year. But I think Dustin Wilson's Yellow Jackets in Springfield get an upset win there.
And in West Tennessee, a big one, Huntington at Westview.
Oh, that is huge. Because of the quarterback, Ty Simpson, I'm going with Westview.
Okay, we want to thank everybody for watching the box score as Murphy Ferry, Terry Collins, and Justin Malden. And we appreciate Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team sponsoring the show. And until next week, good night, everyone.